Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today for our official launch of the LightSource AI Workforce. I'm Renette. I lead marketing here at LightSource, and I'll be moderating today's session. A few logistics before we get started. This webinar is being recorded, and we'll share the recording and the replay within 48 hours. If you have any questions, just drop them in the Q&A box, and we'll get to as many as we can at the end. To kick things off, we'd love your thoughts on a poll we're launching. So two questions on your screen right now. The first one is around bottlenecks in sourcing, and the second is around AI implementation and realizing value. So take a few seconds, tell us what you think, and we'll use the results as a follow-up. Okay, people are still voting. That's great to see. Okay, a few more seconds. I might actually let it go for a while because people are still going. But with that, I'm excited to introduce Idan Mintz, our CTO and co-founder, and Anya Korbut, solutions engineer at LightSource. Idan's going to open up with what we're launching today, and Anya will give you a live demo of our new capabilities. And with that, Idan, over to you.
Thanks, Renette, for the warm intro, and thank you all for joining. I'm Idan, CTO and co-founder of LightSource. Today, we're going to talk about LightSource's state-of-the-art AI workforce, what it means to have an AI workforce, and how you can use it today to start realizing cost and efficiency gains, if that's the sort of thing that you're after. LightSource, for those of you who may not know, is the AI native operating system for direct material and NPI sourcing. We connect R&D, procurement, and suppliers from initial design through mass production so that innovators can win on speed and launch at lower costs. We're recognized by industry analysts as leaders in the procurement and sourcing space. We've been highlighted as a Gartner Cool Vendor in the Spend Matters Solution Map and as part of the ProcureTech 100. We're closing in on 3 decades of e-sourcing systems, yet somehow our critical sourcing processes are still fragmented. Your teams have to deal with ad hoc processes they don't control, custom in-house tooling that's not built for your needs, and disconnected systems that make it hard to make decisions. At the same time, competitive pressure is ratcheting up, and expectations for your sourcing team are increasing. Savings, cost containment, time to market velocity are no longer optional. Before starting LightSource, I spent the bulk of my career working on AI, from machine learning accelerator chips to the software that powers these models. I've been extremely privileged to have a front row seat to the myriad revolutions that have happened over the past 10 years in this space. And honestly, it only feels like things are speeding up. 3 years ago, we were just working with chatbots. You could ask any question, and the AI would come up with an answer instantly. It was probably totally wrong, but pretty cool nonetheless. Then we connected the AI systems with our rich context and information layers. Solving for security was and still is a hard challenge, but you can finally start trusting the answers coming out of these systems. Now we're starting to see AI systems taking actions on their own as agents. This opens up a whole new realm of possibility and an equally large set of challenges that can often stop an organization in its tracks. Despite the tectonic shift that's been going on in Silicon Valley, we're still seeing a real gap across all industries in terms of successful AI systems and a widening gap in performance between your typical procurement professional and one that's empowered with the right AI. Even though ChatGPT and Claude are improving month over month, successful deployments are still few and far between. If you felt frustrated or disappointed in your organization's ROI on AI, you're not alone. Our new mission at LightSource is to close this gap for your sourcing teams. Simple chatbots are not really the answer. LLM wrappers are not the answer either. And pure orchestration layers are also not the answer. Your teams are often left in the lurch, trying to figure out how to get things started. What's worked repeatedly across industries is a cohesive and purpose-built AI native system where the hard work of security, data integrity, connectivity, and quality are built for you and battle tested at scale. The answer is a purpose-built operating system with an AI workforce embedded at every step. LightSource extends your sourcing team with ops, admins, and IT support powered by AI. It's your analyst and it's your thought partner. That's why we've built the LightSource AI Workforce, which is already live today and which Anya will be walking us through in just a moment. Let me give just a quick rundown first. Your sourcing cycle is manual and error prone. Your data's not there. The PLM is messy, if it exists at all, and it focuses too much on R&D. Files and drawings are out of date or unlinked from their parts. It might not even be clear what you need to source. Projects take too long to set up. Your team is spending weeks scoping out projects, selecting the best bid sheet breakdown, and preparing the supplier packages. We've seen companies spend upwards of $500,000 when they do the math on this step alone before they start using LightSource. Once you've kicked off, it's a constant game of phone tag and catch up as you're corralling your suppliers and stakeholders to answer questions and move the project forward. With LightSource's AI Workforce, you've got an all-star team of agents working around the clock to make sure that your data is sourcing ready and your project is moving forward. It all starts with item ingestion. LightSource's item ingestion agent can work with your PLM or take any raw drawings, files, CADs, PDFs, and turn them into a consistent and high-quality data source. While your R&D team is working on making changes or your procurement team is sourcing, the item cleanup agent is hard at work checking for duplicate SKUs, missing properties, and make sure that your data is clean and ready to source. Then comes setting up the project scope and the supplier package. You can use one of LightSource's built-in project templates, or you can work with the RFX setup agents to build out your bid sheet, your cost breakdown, or even define your sourcing strategy. Next, we have to keep our suppliers moving through constant Q&A, updates, and activation. LightSource's supplier activation agent answers supplier questions immediately with the right answer and nudges all the users along with relevant alerts and action recommendations. When it's time to award, LightSource's AI analyst can calculate exactly how much volume should be allocated to each supplier for even the most complex, multifaceted scenarios. It can make decisions based on qualitative factors as well, so you can get a true apples to apples comparison. And finally, now that your whole team is working on LightSource, every critical piece of sourcing information is captured. Training up teammates, handing off projects becomes easy. You'll never have to hunt for spreadsheets from someone's old laptop in order to figure out how much you spent on a part last year. The Ask LightSource agent can service any and all of your team's work output, allowing you to understand sourcing activity, supplier relationships, parts, or BOMs immediately. You can build reports in minutes that used to take weeks, and so much beyond that. This is not hypothetical. We've already seen our customers drive down their cycle times and reduce costs. We have a tier one automotive supplier customer that's managed to take a multi-week process and now turns it around in minutes, handling over 100 RFPs per week without breaking a sweat. Like I said, the opportunity is available for everyone here today. You can get up and running in days, not months, but honestly, seeing is believing. So I'll let Anya take it from here and show you how the AI workforce works in action.
Hi, everyone. Firstly, I'm so excited to be here today, and what an awesome overview by Idan. So thanks again for setting me up there so nicely to present the demo of our new workforce. I've been at LightSource for a little over 3.5 years, and in this time, sitting here now and being able to present all these features, it just feels like such a phenomenal experience. So I'll go ahead and share my screen, and we will begin. So I want to start with a little scenario that many of you might recognize immediately. It's Friday afternoon, and an email just came into your inbox that a new product is launching. Engineering just finished the BOM, and several line items need to be sourced, quoted, and ready for an upcoming leadership meeting. Whether this is an experience you or a colleague have personally had, if you spend any time in sourcing your procurement, you know what this Friday feels like. It usually starts about 2 weeks of chasing down data, spreadsheets, waiting on suppliers, and hoping that that report that you eventually put together holds up against all of those questions. So here's what I want to do with you all today. First, I want to introduce you to Jordan, a sourcing manager at a mid-sized manufacturer. Jordan's company recently got LightSource, so he won't be handling this process alone. With the LightSource AI Workforce supporting him, he now has a dedicated and specialized team of agents, each one built for a different part of the sourcing cycle. We're going to be meeting 5 of them here today, all pointing back to the main goal, getting that product out to market faster and at a lower cost. All right, so Monday morning rolls around. Jordan has the bill of materials in Excel, along with a folder of PDF drawings from engineering. There's a good chance that some of these already exist somewhere in the platform under a slightly different name or revision. And in the past, this is where Jordan would typically start manually keying and copying and pasting into a template, cross-referencing old POs, figuring out whether 2 parts with varying names are the same. But with LightSource, Jordan just drops the files in. This is the first member of our AI workforce showing up. The platform reads and uploads those files. It either starts to create new items with specifications and custom properties that it can find, or if the item already exists, the beauty of it is it just enriches the existing record with whatever new data just came in. You can see these properties that were either previously uploaded or they were suggested by the AI. These can be new, important, based on the information that was provided. And sometimes with the human eye, we don't want to continue and bring in those insights into that data. So we'll go ahead and upload and update this existing item. But because this item actually lives natively on the platform, every future change to it is captured as a tracked revision. So we can see all of the custom properties attached to these items. And there's a clear history of how this part has evolved over time. If there is a duplicate part, LightSource will actually highlight that immediately and allow you to merge any of that item data seamlessly, giving you some of that AI reasoning and summary so that, again, you're not looking through that data and multiple line items. So by mid-morning, Jordan isn't still organizing that data. He is getting ready to source, which means that the clock on getting this product out to suppliers just started days earlier instead of how it normally would have. But from here, he actually needs to get these items into a format for quoting and price collection. This is a new product. So this can mean NPI sourcing, likely multiple rounds of quoting, varying levels of cost breakdowns requested throughout. The old approach could have meant digging through a shared drive and trying to find the right template. Typically 3 or 4 versions floating around, maybe a couple of those are outdated, or maybe we're starting from scratch entirely. Well, with the LightSource template library, Jordan can actually use an existing template, or he can start creating with AI. With our RFX setup agent, Jordan can describe what he's looking for in the quote format, including multi-stage cost breakdowns. Maybe this is actually increasing as the complexity of the sourcing project goes on. You can do things like qualitative, quantitative, including some of those maybe RFI question in there. But the agent is going to build this quote format and cost breakdown from that description alone, using its own category and item intelligence. This is our second team member. It's the one who essentially has memorized every quote template and cost breakdown structure the category has ever needed. And it can build the new one from plain language description, as you saw here, and maybe ask you a couple back and forth. But in addition, you can also get in your Excels. You can drop those in and the agent will build them and embed it for you. There's no coding required. Let's go ahead and create this format. So with the flexibility that LightSource provides, you can have all these items potentially in different phases of the sourcing process, such as design and development, manufacturing, or maybe already on the launch phase. They might each deserve their own breakdown. So we can quickly select, let's say these 2 items, we'll select the breakdown to be manufacturing, and I can go in and directly preview exactly what my suppliers are seeing. What matters beyond today, though, is that this will become a reusable template. The next person on the team, whether that's a new hire or someone picking up this project down the line, they can open the same standardized format that Jordan just built. And if any changes are needed mid-project, this format is fully customizable. These versions and revisions can also be compared side by side. And you might be thinking, what happens if that change is made on my suppliers? Well, the best part is that it actually grows with your suppliers as well. So information that they might have put in into a previous round or phase, that'll actually get transferred over if they've been sent out a new RFQ revision. So what used to take the better part of a day, now it takes about 15 minutes and a quick conversation, so our project is ready to launch. And by Tuesday, suppliers will have started logging in and initiating their submission process. LightSource gives you full visibility into all supplier activity throughout, including when they've opened it, how many quotes they've sent and submitted, and just a few high-level metrics as well. Now let's talk about supplier communications on LightSource. The platform hosts an internal team chat for all project users, owners, collaborators, as well as individual supplier threads. So on Tuesday evening, one of Jordan's suppliers in China has a very simple question about the material on one of the items, but it's the middle of the night for Jordan, and it'll be midday again for that supplier before anyone typically checks in. With our LightSource supplier activation agent, if the answer already exists somewhere in the RFQ, such as the item details, the project description, the timeline, that supplier can get a response instantly without having to wait on Jordan to be awake. Here's another really quick example too. So essentially suppliers will receive replies in their native language. And if a collaborator on Jordan's RFQ was to jump right in and wanting to catch up on the comms, they can actually summarize the entire thread, see if there are any next steps or action items, especially, if you've gone on vacation for a week, you might want to check in and see if there's anything ongoing. Teams now effectively have coverage in every time zone with their suppliers, what they're sitting in. On top of that, every project has automated milestone notifications. So as the deadlines might be approaching for each of those milestones, suppliers get reminded without Jordan needing to message, send out, or chase them down individually. Suppliers will receive this in the form of email notifications, and even if you have any internal milestones, your internal collaborators will also be notified so that everybody stays on that same timeline and same page. He comes back online Wednesday morning, and the project that has been moving overnight, it's not sitting idle. So this becomes real time off of the total sourcing timeline, not because somebody was working extra hours late into the night, but because they didn't actually have to, wait for the business hours to line up. So Thursday comes around and Jordan gets a ping from his VP asking him and his engineering counterpart for a quick status call. He looks at his watch, and previously that would mean stopping everything, pulling reports, cross-referencing past sourcing events, aka potentially hours of work and probably another coffee. But Jordan and his colleague look at each other and they know exactly what to do. Instead, they can join the call with confidence, and Jordan shares his screen asking any question to LightSource directly. If the other members in this workforce that we've met so far are each specialists, this is the one that sits in on everything. It's seen every item, quote, project, message across the entire platform, so it really can answer any of those questions instantly. Let's say that the VP's first question is about a current supplier and their history, historical performance. Maybe they're considering switching to a new potential supplier, or Jordan's been tasked out essentially to provide some of that evidence. After typing in that question, the agent is going to get straight to work. It can actually build and deploy sub-agents to help locate and format that data properly. It might ask a few follow-up questions to ensure that you're getting the most accurate response, and you can even see some of that behind the scenes work just as it's processing. These kinds of questions teams get are typically not going to be answered by memory or even sifting through old contracts in your ERP that you might have 47 different versions of. We've all heard it from customers too that sometimes this can be purely tribal. So that back and forth might be between colleagues for the lack of visibility, but it really works at any altitude that you ask it from. And as you can see on the right here too, if there is a report or CSV that you've generated, beyond just those key takeaways or maybe that summary that we've got here, this can also be exported from the platform. You can use that to add to your slides, for example. Here is another quick example of the agent working across an entire program, actually, rather than just a single project. So rolling up numbers across multiple sourcing events into one answer. This is the kind of question that would normally mean someone stitching together several different project files, trying to understand what the best cost was, what the baseline cost was, and any of those identified savings. So across these examples, essentially, the hours that you used to be putting into pulling this kind of information together, it gets returned back to the person doing the sourcing work. And if this agent lives on any page, so it allows for Jordan to have any quick question, whether he has a question on the bid comparison, flagging a supplier submission discrepancy, or even starting some negotiation starter points. So he's able to reallocate that time for either other projects, as we know, we've always got a lot of those going on in parallel, or any of that more strategic work. All right, it's everyone's favorite day of the week now. It's Friday. Now that his NPI project has been going on smoothly, he's got time for another RFQ. This one is ready for compiling, comparing, and beginning the entire award decision process. From here, historically, this was the part of the week that spilled into days or weeks of analysis, and sometimes even the weekend. Compiling every bid side by side across all the suppliers, understanding what the bid coverage looked like, TCO, total roll-ups, and then layering in additional factors like country of origin, MOQs, or lead time for proper negotiations. Doing this analysis properly usually means manual spreadsheet work, or if it's a true optimization, pulling in a colleague who can run a linear model in Python. But from here, with LightSource Award Optimization, Jordan can actually build these scenarios directly in the platform in a matter of minutes. So starting from whether those are some suggested scenarios from LightSource, creating a scenario with custom constraints around specific factors, maybe lead time or country of origin, or just building one from scratch. You really have full flexibility on how much of that assistance that you need, but let's do a quick example and we'll optimize for lead time. And out of the 15 suppliers I had in this project, I just want to award to 3. So we'll maximize and limit to the amount of suppliers, and LightSource is going to generate a plan for review first, and then we'll go ahead and create it. So we always want to make sure that if there's any other changes that we want to make, you can go ahead and make those edits as well. From here, you can review what contracts are allocated to which supplier, and these scenarios also support built-in approvals from other teammates. We've got rolling awards in case you award a single item to one supplier and then you want to continue to flesh out the rest of the award, as well as award splits like dual sourcing. So it's not just an analysis exercise, but it produces something that's truly decision ready. In this case, Jordan can bring in this analytics agent as well. He can check in the trade-offs across scenarios. So it's more than just the data, but it's really cleanly building out scenarios with high-level metrics and allowing him to analyze efficiently. So with LightSource, there is really no external tooling in that case or spreadsheet workarounds. Any collaborators can go in and create scenarios for quick comparisons. And then when it comes to those leadership meetings, they've got their time, and their time is back, and they've got the data ready to go. So if we look back at this entire week, whether you've seen them embedded directly and maybe they're behind the scenes, if we look back, that same Friday email that used to mean days or weeks of data cleanup and collection and potentially losing that weekend to analysis has turned into something completely different. The team was able to start sourcing within days instead of weeks. A supplier on the other side of the world got an immediate answer, and Jordan was able to walk into a status call without much prep, but he was still on top of the project. So ultimately, our buyers and suppliers both walk away happier. What you saw today is also just the start of the AI workforce. Our Agile team is constantly building and releasing new features and agents that help you and your teams get things done in a faster, collaborative, and standard format. Thanks so much for watching this really quick demo and listening, and welcome to the future of sourcing.
Awesome. Thank you, Anya, for that wonderful demo. I think now we'll move on to the Q&A portion of the webinar phase. So folks can start putting in questions into the chat, and we're happy to talk through any questions you might have about the LightSource AI Workforce.
Excellent. We actually do have a few, so I'll kick things off. Maybe this one's for you, Anya. The first question from Sandy is, how do you know if the paths are duplicate?
That's great. Great question, Sandy. Thanks for that. Actually, LightSource will first kind of look into all of the items that you've got in the platform, and it'll start to look up and match up whether that's the part number, part description, or any of the custom properties. So it really does have that item intelligence to look through your entire component list and potentially say that it can suggest, and maybe it is going to be able to merge in that data. So it's able to kind of look at that first, allowing you to be human in the loop, making those decisions a little bit more assisted.
Excellent. Maybe this one's for you, Idan. Someone's asking, what is the difference between LightSource, Claude, and ChatGPT?
It's a very good question. I mean, it's like what's the difference between concrete and a skyscraper? Not to say that concrete isn't wonderful, it's incredible technology, but you can't really be using that to then accomplish the tasks that you need. So like it's true with Claude, hypothetically, a really expert user can probably get a lot done. But in practice, what we've seen at the enterprise scale is that you need that sort of a vertical software system that's fully integrated, that's actually able to accomplish the task and solves those challenges of security, quality, and is battle tested and repeatable.
Excellent. Thank you. Maybe this one's for you, Anya, or Idan, you can fight over it. But what is the level of complexity of a bid template supported? Can I ingest an Excel complex format with multiple tabs and formulas, and that to be a bid template keeping the complexity within LightSource?
I love this question, actually. During a lot of the experience with customers when I started at LightSource, that's exactly some of the questions that we've had. And we've seen a really wide range of complexity. So whether you're sourcing something that is just a simple unit price format, anything off the shelf that way, or going as far as doing a full cost bucket, we really can ingest and handle all of that. Typically, if you've got it in Excel, it will just be able to potentially ask any just follow-up questions. What I love about our RFX setup agent is it might even enhance it slightly and say, hey, maybe this is going to be something that you'd like to ask your suppliers of. But we really do handle a wide range of complexity going from super simple unit prices to full tables, collecting tooling, materials, NRE, material costs, etc. And then towards that kind of post-processing, you'd be able to do all of the bid analysis on the back end. So really gets it into an apples to apples format and truly no coding required. I've been able to upload some of those cost breakdowns, and I'm not a coder, and I love the RFX setup agent. It saves me a lot of that time.
Perfect. Idan, what's actually new on the platform that we just saw and what's coming?
Everything that we saw today is live today, actually. So a lot of this, if you're a current LightSource user, you'll frequently see these banners that pop up on the screen nowadays that say try the all new experience or the refresh sourcing project experience. That's how you're going to kind of unlock a lot of sort of the views that Anya was demoing today, and you can go ahead and get started. And coming into the future, we've got a lot of enhancements to all these agents, as well as agents helping to do things like, for example, supplier discovery and even more BOM analysis and BOM ingestion. So lots of exciting stuff coming to the pipeline, but everything you saw today is today.
I love it. Okay, Johan, hopefully I mentioned your name right, asks, where is the data stored we provide for the sourcing activities? Maybe for you, Anya?
Yes, so data kind of depends, right? So if you've got your items coming in, whether that's items or bombs, actually, all of that will be stored in the LightSource platform. What's awesome is that if you upload something like a PDF, drawing, or file, they will also be automatically attached to the items created. So it will both live on the platform. And let's say this week, especially with NPI, you only start with part number and description. Next week, you're uploading that drawing. Those revisions are actually captured, and you can go back in time and see what the differences were, especially your suppliers would be able to see those differences. And then further, if there's any data such as documents that you and your suppliers would like to receive or send back and forth, then we've also got a data room that allows them to store any of those documentation, like NDAs, for example, in the platform. We've got another smaller AI feature not shown today, but if you have any file that's dropped into the LightSource data room, it'll actually give you a quick summary and seek out if there are any expiration dates. So your admin will get notifications of those coming up, really allowing you not to need to sift through some of that data contracts or any of the upcoming item contracts that are expiring. So it's a lot of that kind of behind the scenes work recommending when you might want to take action on certain things.
Perfect. Okay, can we have an integration with other platforms to get the BOM and material specifications from? Done?
Happy to answer that.
Yeah.
100%. So we know that every company's IT stack tends to be kind of special. So it often starts with a conversation of exactly what the current source of that data is. But LightSource is entirely built on an open API that is very easy to integrate with and also usable by an external sort of agent. We didn't really touch on this as much, but we often see like an orchestration level agent that other companies are using. And that API can work either with LightSource as a standard integration or as working with an AI. So 100%. We highly recommend that.
Perfect. I think we have one more question. You mentioned uploading engineering drawings. Do they need to follow a standard format, or is LightSource able to pass out materials and other info of drawings of unique formats?
Yeah, that's an excellent question.
Yes.
The answer is no, you do not need to have a standard format. LightSource uses AI essentially under the hood and a lot of AI related techniques to extract information from the drawings, regardless of what format they're in, whether that be like the text that actually exists in the drawings or the sort of structure of the image in the drawing itself. So we can take any documents. Now, obviously, we don't want the AI to be making up stuff on its own. So it'll also be informed by previous times that you've ingested items, corrections that you've made, and sort of the properties that exist within the system in LightSource. So your team can kind of define the guidance and the strategy of what you're looking looking to extract from the drawings, and then LightSource is able to extract them regardless of what structure they're in. So it's a very useful way to go from kind of unclean data to all your system in one place.
Okay, thank you, Idan. I think we're at time with all the questions. We did just get a whole bunch, but maybe we'll follow up with everyone individually and maybe even publish a blog because there's some themes here. But we do want to thank everyone for joining, especially Idan and Anya also for your awesome presentations. We do have some resources. Idan, if you can go to the next slide, please. If you want to stay in touch, you can subscribe to our blog. We also have a source code podcast hosted by Spencer Penn, our CEO, which you can find on most podcast recording platforms. And if you want to learn more and see more of our platform, you can go to lightsource.ai/contact and get a demo. You can also just reply to the email you'll receive from me with the recording. So I appreciate everybody's time. I hope you found this useful and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.